Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Grace.
I'm Lucy.
We're coming to you live from the studio on 83rd Ave, and you're listening to the Big
Picture
Podcast. Today we are talking to Big Picture Podcast superstar, local artist Hannah McMillan.
Hey, guys.
And
we also got local film photographer Kassian.
Hey, what's up?
So, who are you?
Who am I? I'm Kassian. I like anything old. I've really gotten to film over the last couple of years. Kind of reaching out to movie film and whatnot too. So I was doing a lot of picture film the last couple of years and got into developing. And then I've been getting into a lot of Super 8 and 16 millimeter and stuff.
Oh, that's so cool.
So really stoked on that.
That's awesome. And Hannah, who are you?
I'm a visual artist here in Edmonton. Pretty much focusing on like canvas arts and kind of spreading my wings into murals and stuff like that.
Very cool. And what's your story?
My story, I was born and raised in Sherwood Park most of my life, but I've been like super involved in Edmonton and the scene. Growing up, I was always just around art, whether it was music, painting, photography, stuff like that. We used to own a record store called Sound Connection on White Avenue, so
Cool.
that's kind of when I really started like embracing Edmonton and what it kind of has to offer to people. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Edmonton is a pretty cool space. So, Kassian, what are you all about? What's your story?
Well, I'm also from Sherwood Park, like Hannah. Love Edmonton though, and I don't know. I've just always been into art things. Was in a band when I was a bit younger. We split apart at about 50 years old. It was tough.
Oh no!
No, but it was awesome. That was really fun. And then kind of got a little bored of that. And over the last couple of years, just been really getting into film, and I want to keep that alive. I like old shit. So
What even got you into film in the first place? What brought you there?
Well, Hannah actually had bought some disposables a couple years ago, and we shot those, and I remember we got the results back, and I was like, holy shit, this is cool, man. And then, like how I am, I just like dove headfirst in, bought a camera, and bought a bunch of films, started going around taking really terrible pictures. And I remember my first roll, actually, I was so excited to take it in after I just bought this old SLR camera, and I send it in, I'm all like stoked and everything, and then I get a call, and they're like, hey, it's blank. I was like,
Oh my
like,
God.
great.
It's literally heartbreaking.
It really is.
I got this like film camera
Devastating.
from this guy on like a Tinder date. So he just like gave it to me, and he was like super into like film and stuff. I was like, oh, like thank you.
Yeah.
I like didn't know anything. I'm like, whatever. And I took it around like all summer. I was like, I'm not even taking pictures on my phone. Like, I've got it here. Like, this is gonna be so dope. And like, same thing.
Blank.
Took it in and nothing. I
Oh
was
man,
like,
that's
fuck this.
devastating.
The worst
Oh,
feeling.
that's just the worst.
I was crying in London Drugs parking lot.
Yeah,
Never
right.
again.
Oh no, it's definitely like that at first. It's pretty unforgiving, but I don't know, it really, like it gets you. You're more cautious and stuff about pictures and the whole process, which I really love. It's
It's
pretty
an
cool.
art.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
It's cool, like cool and like kind of scary that you like can't see it till the end. Like
Yeah.
it's not like that instant like, let me see, no, delete that, take another one,
Yeah.
like that, like, you know. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Nowadays, it's so easy with the phones we have.
Oh yeah, and they're
So
so good in
simplified.
like
It's crazy.
so many ways. Like, but just the old stuff's fun.
I was just telling
Yeah,
you
the
before,
whole
Grace, like,
process.
what would we do before cameras? You remember those days when people used to pay to get portraits done? Now artists are out of a job.
You gotta be really damn good nowadays, right?
Yeah,
Really.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Hannah, why do you create? Why do you paint?
I gotta find like it's very satisfying for me to be able to like take something and then put it on a canvas with your own hands. There's something about that that's so cool. Also, just like being involved with people and, you know, having something that someone can look at and be like, wow, like that's fucking cool. Like that just feels great to me. Also, just like self-expression and just pushing yourself further, seeing how far you can go with it, and like learning new skills. That's something that's huge for me with art. Yeah.
That's awesome. And how would you describe your style?
It gets really different.
Yeah.
I find over the years, like when I first started compared to what I do now, it's like crazy different. But I do focus a lot on like portraits now. Anything musically inclined, I love like taking like one of my favorite musicians and painting their albums, or like painting something like symbolic of them, and just like abstract kind of stuff now too. So just kind of all over the place with it a little bit.
That's awesome. It's such a like cool style because you can do stuff that's like so realistic.
Yeah.
But then it's like you just added like a special touch
Yeah.
to it. It's just cool.
Yeah, and that's like another thing, like people ask like, what's your style? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unique.
And the same with you, Kassian. How would you describe your style? You were kind of touching on it before.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to Hannah. I feel like I'm still sort of new, so I don't know, especially I've been developing myself for quite a while now too. So I experiment in a lot of ways with that. Like at the one show that I'd taken those pictures.
Transcendence?
Yeah. Yeah, I had pushed black and white film like pretty hard, and like to get it in really low light, and it like turned out really well, like super grainy. It was really cool.
It looked so cool.
Yeah, so like just things like that, and experimenting with color film, and
sweet.
Yeah, just like different things like that. So now, like I was saying, I'm getting more into movie film, and that gives me like a lot of creative power. Like, you know, now it's not just a picture, which is, you know, pretty awesome.
That's so cool. Do you have like a favorite subject matter or something that you like to take pictures of?
Not necessarily. I like a lot of portrait style work. But it's just as I go kind of thing. I don't necessarily focus on one thing. I get tired of a lot of like landscape stuff, but other than that, yeah, like I've really loved taking like I've done it a couple times, just taking pictures of bands when they're playing. I think that's so awesome. So
it's like the
and they look
too.
so cool too.
Thanks, yeah.
Especially like the ones like I think it was like of Sam and Cormac like backstage at the Aviary.
Yeah.
It's just like so like it just looks
vibing.
So cool.
Well, definitely at the next big show you have planned there, I'm gonna come by, and
cool.
now I got it like a little more dialed in. I know what went wrong and what went right, so definitely gonna shoot a lot more then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So exciting. And Hannah, what mediums do you usually use in your art?
Right now I'm totally a slut for oil paints. I was like,
who wouldn't be?
Right? Like when I first started though, it was like acrylic, because it was just so like, I know what's gonna happen with it.
It's accessible.
Exactly. It's cheap-ish. And so yeah, when I first started painting, it was like, I was scared of oils, like wouldn't touch them. Now it's like my go-to kind of thing. Obviously still acrylic for like certain things and what you want to do. Some things just aren't like easy enough to do in oils, I guess you could say. Like, but yeah, definitely oils is kind of what I'm focusing on right now.
That's so cool. Oils, like just like the word, I'm like
It's
so hard.
It's so intimidating. It is.
It's like, how long does it take to dry?
Yeah,
right?
A year?
Oh
What?
That's the thing, right?
No doubt.
Right? So it just depends on like your project that you're doing, how much time you want to fucking spend on it, right?
Yeah.
So, but you can manipulate oils in ways you can't with acrylic, so that's like a huge thing to think about as well. But
like the non-drawing thing is like a benefit in some ways.
It's a benefit and it's also a
serious curse
at the same time, right? So yeah, but I'd have to say oils for sure right now. Yeah,
That's awesome. And are you doing art full time right now?
right now it kind of feels like it because with the pandemic going on, really haven't been working all that much, so I just have so much studio time. And lately I've had a few projects I've been able to do that can like compensate for my missed income, so I love the feeling and I feel like I'm getting used to it too much, so when it comes to time to go back to work, I'm like, I don't know if I want to, right? But I mean, if you can make art your full-time thing, fucking do it, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, right now pretty much just focusing on art. That's all I have going on right now, so
Woohoo.
yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
It feels awesome until you have no money. So,
Literally.
Well, my money just goes straight into paints.
right? I feel
All
that.
my worth.
I remember like the first COVID.
Yeah, the first one.
I was just, like, I didn't even have like a studio or anything. Like I just like set up a sheet and I was like painting my room the whole time. But then I had like too much art. And I had like spent all my money on supplies and I was like selling like paintings for like $20.
Right.
Like, please buy this. And
Right.
I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I feel that. Like my
Story of
garage
life.
now has just been like converted into like a studio.
Oh, that
That's
is so
so
tight.
amazing.
Yeah.
I think I saw you paint your feet in there, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is so cool.
Through
Oh,
Instagram, not in real life. That'd be creepy.
It's a nice space, you know, like you have a good like sound system set up in there, like you're kind of away from like that. So I'm like up till 5 a.m. painting,
Yeah.
listening to music, doing whatever I want. So like it's
Yeehaw.
nice. It's
Good gig.
nice, right? Yeah. So
What kind of like do you find that like what music you're listening to when you're painting like influence what you're
100%.
like what is your like usual like go to what you're listening to?
It depends, but I'm like a metalhead, so like even when I'm painting like a really nice painting, like flowers or like a nice portrait, it's like metal like playing in the back. But no, it definitely does. I feel like it takes a toll on like how you see your subject and like how much time you take painting, and yeah, I know it's kind of like a personal thing I find. So yeah. For sure.
And what about you? Do you get inspired by music at all?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? That's kind of
Yeah.
Honestly, like one of my dreams would be to be that guy that chooses music for movies, you know?
Mhm.
Like the
Oh.
songs for the scenes.
Yeah.
Everyone feels that
Is
when
there,
you're like
a
walking
name for
around.
that?
Soundtrack artist.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
it'd
yeah.
be
yeah.
like,
Isn't it like
you know,
Soundtrack director.
music director, whatever, things like that.
Do you have a favorite like soundtrack for a movie?
Not necessarily. Of course, like Tarantino, classic,
love it.
awesome
Always.
stuff. A lot of like, I like some. I really love French cinema. Like old French cinema, it really got me into like wanting to shoot more like movie film type
Yo.
stuff. And they have kind of like odd stuff, and it cuts off at weird parts. So I really like that stuff. But yeah, music in general, like I would love to pair certain songs with like certain video scenes and stuff, but you got to figure out how to get past copyright too. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
true.
yeah, so
Work local.
gotta yeah, no, exactly. That's the way, right? But you just have those songs in your head, and you're like, you know those songs, and it's like, no, this is it. This is it.
the one I want.
But yeah, no, that's yeah.
That's awesome. How do you want people to feel when they look at your art?
That's a good question. I feel like it really depends on like what the art is. Like I've found that a lot in like the floating head series I did, those portraits. I collaborated with another artist. He's a photographer. His name's Jared Cruziero. I actually met him when I was working on the Chai Pig mural. It's where we kind of came into contact with each other. But
That was so cool.
Oh yeah, it's one of my biggest accomplishments. That thing.
Just so you guys know, Chai Pig Mural is actually like right down the road from Studio 93rd now, so it's like literally in my backyard. Watched you guys do that shit. That was so tight.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
I met Lily and Lola. What's their name again?
Lacey and
Lacey.
Layla.
Oh my god.
Close.
Like literally coolest names ever. They both have pink hair.
Oh yeah, they're the raddest, like the fucking coolest chicks I ever met. But yeah, like definitely like portrait wise, I feel like portraits are so cool because even if you don't know the person, you can kind of like relate to them or like relate them to someone else, you know, or like feel their emotions and stuff like that. So those are ones I really love painting because even when I'm painting them, I feel something too, right? Like,
yeah.
And those portraits were all homeless people in the city that Jerry photographed. And the thing with Jerry is he'll spend like weeks with these people, like
such an interesting
really
guy.
fucking get to know them, like just be out there with them.
What's
and
his Instagram? The Human Experience.
The Human's Experience, yeah. So every photo he has or has taken of them, it's just so genuine. Like they're just so, they feel comfortable around him, right? So it just changes the whole aspect of the portrait. And when you're like putting that onto a canvas, like painting that, like you just, there's so many like emotions you can feel with that, right? So I find that really awesome. And then with other stuff like the Motorhead paintings and like the Slayer ones, like other people can relate to that in different ways that they like music, right? So they get that like, oh, that's fucking cool, right? So yeah, there's just so many different things you can like grab from paintings. And I think that's the coolest thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So inclusive as a genre in general.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's so cool. And who are some of your artistic inspirations?
That's a good question. I don't really have like specific names that come to mind. Definitely like Lacey and Layla, like bring it back to them a bit. Like
Lacey and Layla, yeah.
They were huge fucking mentors to me, like because they like made the call for the person to come and be an assistant with them, and I fucking like met Chai Pig when I was younger, so
what?
yeah, well,
Crazy.
yeah, I was like 8 years old, and even when we had like the fucking, we had the record store, he would always come in and like buy tapes and stuff, like whenever he was in Edmonton. He was born here, right? So
yeah.
Oh my god.
just a huge connection with the guy. Loved SNFU, loved the music. So just like working on that with them was a huge, like, heartwarming thing for me. But you know, they taught me like tips and tricks on how to like improve your work and like how to get yourself out there and like just like look like being with them. They're so cool. Like they're so fucking rad. And I was like, I want to be like you one day.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. So probably them, honestly. I'd have to say that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Kassian, do you have any favorite photographs you've ever taken?
Yeah, one of them is the one I had sent to you guys of the Volvo in front of that old motel sign. I think you had posted it with the podcast. Yeah. So that's definitely one of them. Some of the band ones I shot recently at that gig. Those are definitely some of them. Especially with some of them when Hannah and I have traveled to, especially like this year, to Montreal and Vancouver. We actually drove to Vancouver in this 1981 Vandura bus. We like redid inside and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we bought it for like $6,000 and it was just gutted. And
But
like we fixed it up really nice.
Yeah, in a couple months and it like it's sweet. Yeah.
It's awesome until you have no AC in 40
Yeah, no, that doesn't work right now. So we were like driving down the highway with the windows down, but
It's
It
just
sounds
like
so
a blow
free.
dryer in your
basically,
face.
yeah, it was hot.
Oh, especially sleeping in it and it gets damp.
No, it wasn't too bad because we installed like a roof fan too. So
Oh,
there's
nice.
like then there's the windows, so it like breeze and
Circulates.
everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was sweet, and that was like some of the you were talking pictures, but like that was the first time I think I really shot Super 8 film. And we shot a couple rolls of like Ektachrome color film, which you can project, and
awesome.
it turned out like I wasn't sure fully if the camera worked, and we got it back like a month later because it takes a while. I sent it out to it's called Niagara Custom Labs in Toronto, and they're like, I think they might be the only one in Canada that actually processes that kind of film anymore. But we got it back, and I was just absolutely blown away by how cool it was. And I was like, okay, I'm ordering a bunch more rolls and getting into this. Like, this is way cool, man. Yeah.
Can you download that anyway? Like,
so there's a couple ways that you can go about like digitizing it. The best way is to get like a lab to do it, because they have scanners that are like $80,000 that like properly scan it. Because in a roll of like Super 8, there's like
how many pictures?
There's 50 feet of film, and frame wise, I think. Well, I know in 16mm it's like 3,600.
Fuck.
So I've thought about doing it by hand with like a projector and stuff, like having automate it, because you guys will do that, right? But yeah, it's like it's an insane amount. So right now I just let them do it, or a couple of them I just haven't, because a lot of that stuff you can still project. So I've just not even paid for that and just project it at home, and then one day I'll shell the money out for that.
do
so expensive sometimes.
Do you have a projector that will like show it?
Yes.
Do you want to
Next show? Next
Yeah.
art show.
Yeah.
Do
We
it.
could do
We
that.
could totally set that up,
Yeah.
and you could like project
That would be
it.
such a cool look.
We could do like I don't know, like set it up on the stage somehow with like
That would be
the
rad.
sound you
Yeah.
got it.
We
and
should
then
talk
could, like,
about it and
If you
Yeah.
have room to fit it in the
Right?
set list, I mean, why not?
Oh, I wonder if we can even put that in Coalescence. Because I know we could definitely like make room for you to like set it up and have it play on the wall.
we should
Like-
check. 'Cause I have
like
some kind
with
of
all-
projects in mind for the spring too. So maybe we'll like a little later on we'll
be in
set something
touch.
up. That's like, we'll be in
Yeah.
touch. Deal.
We'll be in
Absolute
touch.
deal.
Oh yeah, it'd be great to add in, right? Because your shows are so diverse and like
Yeah, I'd be
I didn't
super
even think
down.
about
just
that.
even to
I
talk
love
like,
that.
Very colorful.
like your shows are just fucking amazing. Like I
Thanks,
fucking
man.
love what you do.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
It's
It's super
fucking-
cool.
It's great. I fucking love it. And like, yeah, that would be a great thing to add into it. Like another
Right?
another piece
Yeah,
of
we'll
art.
chat. We'll chat
Yeah.
for sure.
That'd be so fucking dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be sweet.
Cool.
Glad we don't have this
The amount of like planning that I'm like, someone will say something like on the podcast, and I'm like,
I'm
get into
we'll be
Yeah.
in touch. Got a plan.
Yeah, my people will talk to your family.
Oh, such a businesswoman.
okay. So Hannah, what are you currently working on right now?
Right now, just trying to make a little bit more art pieces for sure, but I do have a lot of stuff planned for the summer, like mural wise. So I'm currently working on 2 I want to do. One's gonna be for curling rink, just like over at the Granite down the street there.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be really fun. Definitely gonna be a collab mural because it's huge.
If you ever need any help,
Yeah,
you call me up.
Yeah.
It's a massive
No,
wall.
it's massive. Like I'm just waiting to hear back from the board about like budgets and stuff like that, but that's something I'm working on too. And then just like applying for grants and stuff like that for like public art, like that's definitely is something I'm extremely like, passionate about. And like I remember when I first started painting, I was like strictly canvas, nothing more, that's it. And now I'm like,
What about
Like,
bigger, better?
paintings on buildings, like that's fucking cool. Like, fuck.
No doubt.
So yeah,
Painting on stilts.
literally, shit like that. So yeah, just definitely trying to like get my name more up there and like more public art, man. That's what I'm
Yeah.
working on right now. So
I love the
That's
community
awesome.
aspect of it too.
Oh,
like
for
I love
sure.
being involved, and I love knowing that people are being inspired by seeing it, and that
and that's
like
like
art
a,
in our
that's
community
a
is
huge
still alive.
thing too, right? Like it's cool to have it on a canvas in a gallery or in someone's house, but like if hundreds of people can look at it and like appreciate it, and like that's good for me, man. Like, that's great.
Also, like, it's so cool, like, you're just, like, scrolling on Instagram, and there's just, like, you
Yeah,
know, the
people
little,
with
like,
your art.
I might have with my ice cream, and you're like, I did that!
Exactly.
It's so cool.
Exactly, yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit more about, like, some past, like, projects and studies and what's inspired them?
For like past projects, probably like back like the Floating Head series. That's like mostly like my most like intense like project series I've like done. And it was like super great to like just collaborate with Jerry on that, and he is just such a giving person that he was like, of course, anytime, and like even when he has new portraits, he'll like send them to me and be like, use this if you'd like, and you know, just like collaborating with people was like a huge like heartwarming thing for me to do. And you know, like even like the mural, back to that again. Just like how many people and opportunities like I got from that, it just sheds light on like how much more is out there and like how much more you can do, and like people will always like look out for you like in the art world, and
especially here. I wonder,
yeah,
too. It's like
exactly.
a small
And like
town
the
here,
amount of
once in a
people
while.
I've met in the last year, just like going in like your art shows and like just getting out there, it's insane. Like, like, and
We're
a
right
lot of
here.
yeah. And a lot of people talk like about how like 2021 sucked because of like the pandemic and all that stuff. I don't feel that way.
Me either.
I met so many cool people, did so many cool things this year. Like, it's definitely one of my best years.
Yo!
Probably, I think.
Honestly, not too many people can even say that.
Let's go.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's like how much you can get out there, and like how much like meeting people means to me. It's insane. So yeah.
That's awesome. And you did some like murals at the Buckingham too, right? A little, like,
Yeah, I did some indoor ones in the bathrooms there. They're like, it's not like crazy or anything. It was just all fun. I went into it thinking
That's
they had
so
more
awesome.
wall space, and they actually did, and they don't.
Yeah.
it's just like maybe like a 1.5 feet like on the upper walls, but it's just like pop art inspired stuff. It was like really fun to do. I remember I finished both bathrooms in like 2 days because it was like right before the mural unveiling for the Chai Pig one.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so fucking hot. I remember like working in those bathrooms just like sweating my ass off. But yeah, it was like a nice little project to do. So
And they look super cool too.
and now that I
so
work,
much.
now that I work there, it's like I'm gonna go pee in the bathroom, look at my art, like that's fun.
Yeah,
I did that.
Yeah.
And so, Kassian, are you doing anything new with your photography right now? What's your projects like?
I'm sort of just planning to do. I've got sort of some loose projects in mind for some Super 8 and 16mm in the spring and summer. So I want to get into that. So I really got to kind of dial it in, get ready for that. But that's sort of what's on the go. It's definitely harder in the winter to take pictures, I find.
Yeah, oh my god.
You always need the sunlight.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
well, we
Yeah,
have
no,
2 hours of sunlight.
almost.
So.
Right? Yeah, so that's definitely, it's kind of on the back burner right now. But I've been doing some dedeveloping for people.
Yeah,
Just
really?
Kinda started
Wow.
doing that. Yeah. It's tough to get your name out there to do that because...
What's the process like? Because you need a whole room, right?
What's that?
Do you need a whole room to process photos?
Not really, no. You just like kind of need a bathroom, like a sink, and you're pretty much good to go. Basically, I don't know.
Well, you need the dark container.
Yeah, so you need to do it all in the dark. Like you got to spool the film into something in the complete darkness, and then processing it's not too hard. It's a little different for color and black and white and whatnot. And then I scan it at home too, so I do the whole thing. I've done it for a few people.
No kidding.
Yeah,
That's
so
complicated.
yeah, no, it's I love doing it for other people. I've always been someone that likes kind of working in the back, helping people, you know. So it's
Behind the
definitely
scenes.
like I'd love to work at a film lab. I'm definitely trying to get into that. There's not much around here. Actually, one of the only independent film labs that like focuses on it, that's not London Drugs around here,
London Drugs.
like just shut down like completely.
Oh damn.
So it's,
They got a great room at Fava.
yeah, that's I gotta look more into Fava.
Oh, great industry to take advantage
absolutely.
of.
Yeah, absolutely. I've
Yeah.
been looking a little bit into it, but I really gotta kind of dive in with
You
them.
can like rent out the spaces or whatever, but what they do is if you volunteer, you get like Fava bucks, and then
Yeah.
you can use those Fava bucks to like get the room for free and stuff. So
Sweet.
there's like opportunities where
Alright.
you can go and do it for free.
Yeah.
And there's a lot you can take advantage of too.
Yeah,
They've
absolutely.
got editing rooms in there. They got everything.
Sweet. Okay.
They
yeah.
just moved
Gotta do
buildings
that.
too, so it's like a brand new building. Ooh la la.
Fancy.
Do you have to have like a red light or something?
No, so like that's sort of that's like really old school type stuff. Like you can do that with some like if you're printing on like paper, you know, like very like old school kind of printing wise. Something I really want to get into. It's just I don't have a big enlarger and stuff to do that. But a red light was for some types of paper you could use. But when you're developing film, it has to be completely black.
And did you learn this all from like YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you-
basically YouTube. There's lots of stuff online, you know, dating back to like 20 years ago.
Right.
Of just so you know, like I'll just search for a while and
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's I love it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Every time I think of like someone like developing film, I think in like an episode of like Goosebumps or something. It was like the Red Room, and it was like
Right?
so
Like-
scary, and I'm like,
It is scary.
that's creepy, but it's really just like
Well, like,
aw pictures.
in like high school, I remember they like the red room in like the film lab. It was just,
Yeah.
like like a red room, and like you'd have like it was like a sliding bed that would like lock on the inside, and we would like smoke weed in there sometimes. But yeah, like that's what I think of, right? When you're like thinking of
Absolutely.
developing film, and like it's quite more basic than that, right?
Yeah,
And
it really is. Like in general, it's
When all, like,
pretty simple.
the products that we have now, they didn't have like.
Well,
back
that's the
then,
thing.
and,
Like back then, you couldn't really process color yourself, but now, like, you can get it in kits. But you still need to, like, black and white's easy because you just develop at like room temperature. It's very like whatever, right?
But with
Like,
color.
But
The
colors like has to be
temperature,
like
yeah.
remain at 40 degrees all the time and everything. So if you like any change in that will like change the look of the film, could ruin it. So yeah.
That would
pretty
be
very
fun.
different.
Pretty tedious work, but yeah, like you said, like fun to play with.
Oh yeah,
Tweak
like you
things here and
can.
there.
Yeah, like one thing's like pushing film, so you can shoot. Essentially, tell your camera that your film needs less light than it needs, and then you overdevelop it to compensate. So that's like what I did that show with the black and white film.
Yeah.
I shot so I could have like I could actually shoot in that really low light. The film did not get enough light, but if you overdevelop it to compensate, then you still get pictures, but it gets grainier because there's less data essentially on the film.
That's so cool.
The things
So many
you
things
do.
you don't even think
Yeah,
about.
really, it's
Think
super
about.
cool.
Yeah.
There's lots of variables. I love it. Yeah.
And what is the like? Is there like a like film like community like in Edmonton? at all?
There's I know a few, like very few on Instagram. I actually don't go on Instagram too much because I find I like, and I don't post too much. Like recently I haven't because I find I post it and then I'm judging my work more based on like, you know, likes and whatnot. I just want to enjoy my pictures for what they are.
Yeah.
So
Pure.
yeah. So, but there's a Facebook group, Alberta Film Photographers, that's really, really great. It's still kind of small, but there's definitely a couple of guys I want to reach out to on there because like one guy creates his own color chemistry and stuff, like just makes it, and it like gives different colors. So it'll be
That's
like
super
some
cool.
Walter White shit, you know, like Breaking Bad.
In your washroom.
Concocting chemicals and then like develop, so
This should work this time.
like explode or something.
There is quite a big film like community in Edmonton. Like there is like
For sure.
more than I thought there would be.
Oh yeah.
And it is coming back now.
Yeah.
Like, so.
It just sort of depends on the pandemic made it like a lot
A
more
fun
expensive.
hobby to pick up, and then people fall in love with it, and like.
Well,
Yeah,
and the
that's true,
supply
too.
lines are bad and stuff. So like, Kodak prices started this year went up like 25 to 50%.
No way.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
cra-
fuck.
so I spent a bunch of money before January because it's like I'll put it in the
Smart.
freezer and it's good for 10 years.
Anyways, Hannah, who's your favorite artist locally right now, or artists?
I definitely have to say U2. I'm being biased.
Stop.
But seriously.
I love
Not
when people
because
come on
you're
our podcast
saying
and say that.
I know we're surrounded in your art.
No, like for real, I love like grace, like it's the way you like put like into your art and like the abstract of it, and like it's not supposed to be like pretty or like perfect. Like I
Yeah.
love that. I love it so much. And then like you too,
fearless.
Lucy, like just like looking around your apartment, like how much shit you have, and like just like your style, right? Like it expands in like different ways, and just like even like working with you and like doing shows with you, it's great.
I am enjoying every single moment. You and me, we got some projects to do together. I want to
Oh, we
collab
do.
so hard.
For sure, like for sure. And like even Ask Art too.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
he's a really cool artist. He definitely has a certain style, like with what he does.
What were you saying it was? MPG. MPG is his style.
That was
Money,
No.
money power, glory.
Money, power,
Yeah.
glory.
No, I'm just joking. Jokes.
Yeah, like the mixed media he puts into it, like spray paint and stuff. I've never really fucked around with it, so whenever I see it, I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And the gloss on top and
Yeah,
everything. Oh,
yeah.
Those are such satisfying videos.
It looks very like expensive. All of it.
Yeah, it looks expensive.
It's
yeah.
you know, like the resin and the whatever.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's
Mm,
another
very professional.
guy. Shit. I think his name is Josh Harnick. I think that's his name. I don't know. He did one of the when I did the Louvre mural in the parking lot. He did one of the pillars too, and like just his style. It's so cool. So he takes like photos of like a police uniform or like a Renaissance painting, and then put like animal heads on them.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think it's the coolest fucking thing. Like, like have fun with it, and it's really well done.
Yeah,
too.
it's really
It's
clean.
really, really clean stuff. I'm like, yeah, like that's cool. Like it just like catches your eye, kind of, right? So, those are I'd have to say my favorite local artists in Edmonton.
It's
Yeah.
a sweet mashup.
And what about you, Kassian? Do you have any favorite like local artists around here that you know?
Yeah, well, I guess speaking like photography wise, one guy I really like, I want to talked with him a few times on Instagram. We're going to meet up, I hope, this year. I think, if I'm saying it correctly, Nojaho Film, or Nojaho. He takes some really good pictures. He's from Edmonton here, so I'd like to meet him this year. We've talked about like going taking pictures, so hopefully we do that this year. And then music-wise, I really loved when I saw Pleasure Craft. They were really awesome. Yeah, like I've always loved the alternative kind of style, and they totally kicked ass. So
I think they're coming out with some new stuff this year too.
Yeah, I think they're gonna change their
The
vibes a little
single
bit.
and stuff. So
oh no, they sound
it's
different.
exciting.
Now you have to get like angry, right? Like a band, you're
big
like,
fan of your old
bastards.
stuff.
You changed.
I just realized I didn't mention any musicians.
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
do you have any favorite
Yeah,
musicians?
for sure.
Oh, she's probably got a list.
Yeah.
Just gonna like put it like hollow point. Like I just
But
like
yeah,
no seriously like even like on Devil's Day I took my dad
yeah.
and he was like just fell in love with them, man. Like yeah, he loves it. And like just like seeing people like our age like make music like that, and like I've always loved music like that, so to be able to like support a local like musicians and artists like that, it's great. Also Nico Tobias band, they're pretty cool. He works in the Buck in the kitchen
Okay.
with me, so that's how I know him. But They call themselves Core Blend, but shittier kind of music.
That's awesome.
But they're so good, like, even on, like, Rockin' for Dollars, whenever that
Yeah.
comes back, they always,
Great
like,
opportunity there.
they host it. And another thing with Rockin' for Dollars is I've, like, worked nights and we have that event going on, and the amount of artists that play there that are so talented, I'm
Yeah,
like,
for
why aren't
real.
you famous?
I
kind
know.
of thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's crazy. Like, the Edmonton music scene is insane.
That's right.
Like,
It's
the
crazy.
amount of talent that's out there.
Was it Rockin' for Dollars where they were playing they play other people's music too, right?
And that's another thing
Covers.
with bands.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like covers of covers of covers. So it's like, it's kind of like whatever, but so you would like dress as one band,
Oh, that's
play your song, but in the style of a different band.
That's so
And just
cool.
thinking of doing that just sounds so hard.
Yeah.
It'd be so
do.
fun though, like
But they killed it. Like,
Yeah.
they did a great job,
Yeah.
and like
some of those bands.
I
kick ass.
can't play music for shit.
Even that band, I think it was the last band that one night, they were playing like in the style of Paramore,
Oh.
and I was like, I've liked
So
Paramore in the
good.
past, but I was like, yo, like this is actually so cool. They sounded just like
Yeah.
Paramore.
That's
Were they doing it in their own songs too, or like covers of
I
Paramore?
think what it was.
It was like one cover.
No, yeah, it was. Yeah, covers and originals, but you dressed and sounded like a band,
Band.
so they sounded and dressed like Paramore,
But it was their song.
but it was their song.
that
How do
they
you do
sang.
that, you know?
That's like, that sounds so difficult.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you
Change
hear
everything.
about that festival? That like big one in Vegas with like Paramore and like
Yo.
Pierce the Veil and
Oh,
My Chemical
yeah.
Romance
Yes.
and Avril Lavigne.
Avril
They keep adding dates,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Not-
They're gonna have
Two
two
days
dates
too?
now?
I
I don't know.
There's like 3 now. I'm
When
like
is that?
looking. It's in October.
Oh, far out.
Mm.
So I really want to go to
It's
that.
it's cheap right now there.
I
Like
know.
it's dirt cheap. Get your
No.
tickets now.
But then the tickets are so fucked up. Like it's like, I think it's like $300 for like one day, and then it's like $400, but you get to use an air-conditioned washroom.
What?
Okay, this is weird.
Like it's
I'd pay that much.
It's really hot in Vegas, and then there's like more, but it's like they're all just for like one day, I guess. And then it's like you can choose to either see like Avril Lavigne or My Chemical Romance.
I was wondering how they were
or
gonna fit that
something,
many
like,
talents
all
in.
at the
You'd have to
same
pick and
time.
choose.
You're gonna
It's like
That's
yeah.
the thing,
Who
yeah.
For
This
one night?
yeah.
Usually that would be a weekend event, but no, they're trying to squeeze it all in. Well,
Yeah.
2
They
dates
have
now.
3
right?
days,
Well,
but
they made new dates, but it's still the same thing each
oh,
date,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
makes no sense to me, right? You think you'd like spread it out,
Right? I know.
Where they expect everyone to buy all 3 tickets and then like go see the separate lineups.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Damn.
I heard it's the same people who also put up that other concert.
The Travis
The
Scott.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
remember that when they were saying that the other night? Yeah, so.
So that's what like salsa
Yeah,
about
Who
it.
that
Okay,
put up
yeah.
what?
It's
They-
Live Nation. They did.
Live, yeah.
That's the Travis Scott one that
Oh.
All those
happened.
people died.
Yeah,
Yikes.
the same people are doing this one.
Oh, all right.
That's a yikes. But I'm like Avril Lavigne and Carson.
and I like how
That's
they're like
chiming
trying
in.
to
Come
like
on.
goth
Jesus.
culture back in.
No, stop. I'm like grade 7 me. I'm like, are you saying MCR is playing? Like, stop
Gets
right
eyeliner
now.
out.
No, literally. Like 21 Pilot shirt on. Fuck. Anyways,
Where did
Lucy,
21 Pilot
who's-
go? Are
they're
making
still
music?
coming out with music. It's just shit.
Yeah. I don't know.
But anyways,
They changed.
they've changed. They really
have.
Okay, 21 Pilots
They've
has changed.
changed.
I will
I've
shamelessly
changed.
say
Yeah.
I used to be a
I
big
had
fan.
faith. I had big faith.
21 Pilots.
Yeah.
You know, and I still would.
They
Yeah,
still come on my playlist sometime. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah, but like some of it just like the
Yeah.
I have a feeling like they like, you know, woohoo, they skyrocketed and then they were like, now that we have all this money, let's just chill and make
Yeah.
music on our
Everyone
own.
just like
That's
kind of
fair.
like went to therapy. And just like who listened to them, you know, like everyone just kind of like got
Better.
better.
I felt like their songs were my therapy.
Literally. Anyways, Lucy, who are you listening to locally?
Let's see here. Who have I not mentioned yet? Because like I have to come up with somebody new every time.
who did I meet today? What was his name again? Oh god, this is gonna take forever. I might have to cut this out. Raj Impossible. Raj Impossible. He is Jamaican, and he does a lot of reggae kind of rap music.
Cool.
And look him up on YouTube. He's got a few YouTube videos up as well. And yeah, he's got some really smooth raps and a very like reggae chill sound.
Cool.
Kind of mixes a few genres in with his music too, so it's interesting.
Nice.
Reggae's
Awesome.
sweet. Have you guys ever seen reggae live?
Oh, I'd love to though.
Oh yeah, I was at it was like Pemberton Festival when I was 17 or something, or 18, and there was a couple of reggae type bands there, and it was just the coolest thing. Like seeing reggae live is just groovy, man.
Oh, the vibes
Yeah.
are just delectable.
Yeah, yeah, delectable. Absolutely, that's how I describe it.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
My mom went through like this really big Bob Marley phase.
So did my
For
mom.
like years, I would like wake up and it was like always, it'd be like 7 a.m. on a weekend, and it's like 3 little birds and like blasting. And she's like,
my window.
I'm like, oh my god, stop. Oh,
That's a great time to wake up to. Man.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Honestly, not bad.
Yeah. Like, it's like when it's like on repeat for like a
Sure.
couple years, and you're like, okay,
That'll do it.
that's enough. So I feel like I'm like ruined it that way, but I feel like live, I could really enjoy.
But
it.
live music
reggae.
hits different.
Especially live reggae.
Mm.
Show up and all you smell is pot.
Well, that's the thing. There was like different stages, right? And we just like stumbled over to one, and the band started, and all of a sudden it was just like you couldn't see the band in a second. It was like, what the
Light her
fuck?
up.
Yeah, that was pretty killer.
Locally, I think I'm listening to. I've said this like so many times, but Gratuitous Platypus.
It's an
Have you guys
awesome
listened to
name.
them?
No.
I've heard of the name. It sounds familiar to
I'm
me.
gonna
It's a
actually
cool
play
name.
some after this,
Do it.
after we're done recording, because it's like so sick. And they have a show February 11th at the Aviary, and then Threefold was moved to February 12th, and they're also playing at that.
That's sick. Oh,
At the
I'll see
aviary?
them then.
They're playing
so
2 days in a
are you
row.
coming to Threefold?
Oh yeah, of course.
And yeah, it's gonna be so sick. Hollow Point, Gratuitous Platypus, and Pleasure Craft.
Sick
Alright.
lineup.
Holy Trinity.
Holy
Yeah.
Trinity, man.
Literally. Hannah, what would you say your biggest artistic accomplishments have been so far?
The mural
Yeah.
again.
Big.
Third time talking about this tonight. No,
That was a huge opportunity.
It was
Yeah.
fucking amazing, man. Like, just the fact that, like, I've been, like, involved with, not involved, but, like, known Shy Pig, like, all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Love their music. Huge inspiration to me. And my dad, too, was so fucking proud of that. Like, it was insane. Like, I don't think I'll ever be able to live that down or, like, top that.
It's so dope.
Yeah. But, like, besides that, like, accomplishment-wise as an artist, like, just collaborating more with the community, getting out there, like, doing more shows, like,
so exciting.
being in galleries, like, you know, everything is, like, a little accomplishment here and there, right? So, yeah, definitely that. Just, like, doing me, kind of. Yeah.
Totally.
You got a long list to put on your CV. Now.
Hey, oh,
Incredible.
yeah, I do.
Good looking
I do.
CV.
Yeah, it's very good.
What do you have like new planned for the new year?
For the new year, like I said earlier, just like a lot of those public art things. I really want to start doing like those murals I have planned. So stoked for that. Also, I'm trying to like get my art like kind of like out of Edmonton too.
Mm.
There's this gallery. It's called BAM Gallery in Montreal. Lacey and Layla kind of hooked me up with them.
Oh, nice.
They're so
Good connect.
fucking cool there. Like,
Yeah, we partied
BAM, yeah, you can party with BAM.
Yeah, the
Like, we
owners.
walked in there and I was like, hey, I'm Hannah, I worked with Lacey and Layla. And they're like, bring out the wine, like, kind of thing.
And then
like,
they were like, "You guys want to go to the bar?" We were like, "Okay."
Yeah, got fucking blacked out with
Yeah,
these
you
fucking
got-
gallery
yeah.
owners, man.
That
Allison
is
and
so
Ralph,
fun.
like, they're the chillest fucking people I've ever met. They're so
Yeah.
cool, so accepting, and like, you walk in, it's not a regular gallery, like, not like a standard posh kind of thing. Like, they have like a record store gallery thing.
awesome.
It's so fucking cool, and like,
So
they show a
unique.
lot of like intimate art, like nude art, or like, you know, like, it just
Pushes
it
boundaries.
yeah, like the boundaries they push, it's fucking insane. So I really want to have like an exhibition there, like a group exhibition there. So yeah, just kind of like spreading art. Like, I love Edmonton and what it has to offer, but a goal for me is just kind of expand that across Canada or wherever. So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
yeah.
And Kassian, do you have any plans for the new year with photography?
Mainly those projects I kind of said.
Yeah.
I've got some loose ones in mind. Hannah and I are gonna do a big trip down the coast
Ooh.
this summer too. So
In
bring
the
a
same
bunch
van?
of yeah. Fix the AC first, but and shoot a bunch of Super 8 there. And then I've got a couple projects in mind kind of near around here. Some of my family came from this town called Derwent, which is about an hour and a half east of here. And there's like,
It's a ghost town.
it's basically a ghost town now. There's like 8 people living there. So I want to
Oh my
shoot
God,
something.
but, like,
I want to shoot something there
yeah.
that's kind of
That's
like
awesome.
gives
Eerie.
a kind of reminiscent feel, but it'll be kind of, you know, desolate. So, and some other things in mind. But yeah, just planning right now because it's kind of still poopy.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it by myself.
I couldn't have.
So true.
Yeah. And like, would you like plan to make like a short film or something?
Yeah, I'd
soon?
love
Like-
to. I think I have a goal for like one short film this spring summer I'd like to do. So I need to really get something planned out. Especially I want to do it on film, but it's expensive, so I need to make sure it's like tight
Yeah.
before I go. And I'm like, shit, like
Yeah.
you know.
Well, even with BAM, they're like Ralph used to own BAM, used to be a film photographer in New York, so he met like the Ramones and
Yeah.
like all these punk people,
Yeah, he has
and like
pictures of him like
they
smiling,
love that shit. So
which is like
we want to do
rare.
like a dual, like a dual kind of exhibition there where we like shoot his film, and like the like I would paint like certain shots of what's like in the short movie.
That's so cool.
So like that's like a long term thing.
Yeah.
It might take a while to like get that done, but I think that's like something
we'll do that
we'll
one day
collaborate on like
for sure.
in the near future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And how has art like brought you guys together? Like, did you meet through art?
I think the art that we met through was mostly musically inclined.
Yeah.
Definitely, like vinyl too. Vinyl was a huge thing. When we first met, we were both like huge vinyl collectors. Just like connecting through music kind of ways. And when I first met him, like I liked art, but I never really was. I never considered my artist when we first met. So I've really grown into that label in like the last few years. And then just like as we've like grown together, like certain things like that interest you, and like as you go as a person, and like for you, Kassian, like you've always like pushed me a little bit further, and like your mom too in the art scene. She's like the president of like Shumka Dancers in Edmonton.
And she owns a arts marketing company.
Yeah,
so
Bottom Line
she's-
Production. So
She helps Broadway and like big and even small guys around Edmonton
yeah,
and stuff. So.
and
Holy shit.
she's been a huge,
Yeah.
huge help to me, and like I kind of see her as like almost like a second mom, kind of in that
Yeah.
way, like looking out for me and like showing me new opportunities out there and stuff. So yeah, like,
Personally, it was when we were hanging out one night and I was going through some vinyl of hers and I saw a free jazz record by Ornette Coleman and I thought that's the weirdest fucking coolest thing a girl has ever had. And then I basically asked you to go out from there. It's like, she has this? But no, yeah. Yeah, we first kind of got into it that way, and
Yeah, just like growing into it, kind of.
and then we
For
push each
sure.
other now a bit for sure.
Oh
And
yeah.
how has art connected you guys with the friends that you guys have now and the community that you guys are connected to?
Like, especially Grace, you're like a huge person for doing that. Like, seriously, like, bringing like all these different kinds of people together that wouldn't normally collaborate with each other. Like, I find that a huge thing, and like, there's different artists you meet along the way, and like where they can take you to, and yeah, like I've met so many people over the last year doing art shows and like drawing classes and stuff like that, or like anything, and like, you know, they're so important to me now. Like, it's crazy. Like, how far art can, like, just not take you art-wise, but, like, in your life and, like, friendship-wise.
Yeah.
So, art's
Totally.
been, like, a huge play in that for me, for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Builds community.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I personally, like, I haven't done a lot with other artists. I want to get more into it. I've always been pretty nervous about that.
It's
So,
scary,
for
man. At
sure.
first,
Yeah.
it's horrifying.
It is, like, putting
Isn't it?
yourself out there and, like,
for sure.
you know.
I'm always like,
vulnerable.
it
It
could be
is.
better. It could be better always.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just not gonna. One day, and it doesn't work like that. So I need to. I've kind of realized that. Especially I've seen that with you. Like you've like over the last while. Like you've really, you know, you've collaborated with other artists and like. It's upped your game and everything too, so it's.
That's like another thing is being confident in your art. Like, a lot of the art I've made, I'm like, not everyone's gonna like this. People are gonna think I'm a fucking weirdo. Like some of the shit I painted, and then, but that's kind of what I want in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want people to be like, look at her, she's so nice. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Like,
agreed.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, good to have some sort of mystery in there, and like, it's another thing I find with my style. It just can grab so many different like types of people too.
Yeah.
So, you know, like you'd expect me to be one way, but I'm not, right?
Mhm.
So definitely being vulnerable and being confident in your projects is something I've learned too.
Totally.
Yeah, confidence is a huge, huge thing.
I feel like that's also like, to a certain extent, like what makes your art like good.
I feel
Like,
that.
if you're
You
like,
make
you
it
have
good.
this, and I'm like, oh yeah, like this is just like some stupid like fucking doodle I drew up, then you're like, okay, it looks cool. But if I'm like, this shit is the best thing
Yeah.
I've ever done, like this is amazing, I love it, it's so great, then it's like, holy shit, that's amazing, like, rock, man, like seriously. And like how
Takes
you
out
like
wallet.
what you like tell yourself, like it's like, oh, I'm a film photographer, I'm an artist, I'm an event planner, and whatever,
Yeah.
and then it's like you say that and then you like become it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just by saying it,
Yeah.
I am is the strongest words.
Literally.
They are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Of course.
Gotta, yeah.
It's hard to believe it, but then at the same time, it's like, it's a fun game to practice and to play, you know, especially when it comes to confidence. Like, sure, you might not have it at the moment, but, you know, you practice it.
Fake it.
Yeah.
till
Fucking
you
fake it till you make it.
man, like,
Yeah.
True that. Absolutely.
Seriously, yeah.
Life is just a game.
Even like, I remember like emailing venues when I first started managing like Hollow Point. I like didn't have like a ton of experience with like
Yeah.
curating events or anything, and they're like, yo, and I was like, yeah, I totally know what to do, guys.
Yeah.
I totally, like, sick riff, bro. Like, I like listened to him like, cool. Like, I don't know anything. But, and then it's just like, you're like emailing people, you're like, I'm an event planner, and like whatever, and then you're like, oh yeah, I am. You know? Big dogs.
Right?
You just
Right.
have to say it.
Yeah, it works.
No.
And what advice would you guys like give to people who, like artists who wanted to like maybe start painting murals and like shit like that?
Just fucking give her, man. Like, seriously, like,
Yeah. It's true.
like taking art seriously changed my fucking life. Like, it did. Like, oh, like you think, oh, I might not be good enough, or like, I don't want to leave my salary-paying job to do this. Fucking do it.
Yeah.
Because you won't regret it. And like, the way it makes you feel, like doing stuff like that, and meeting people like that, like you're never gonna want to turn back.
Totally.
Just do it. Like I remember like when I did that, I quit my job like as a receptionist, and it was the best thing I ever fucking did because
Yeah.
it just like rolls. It's like it rolls and rolls and rolls. It's like just sparks different things, and it takes you this place and this place. Like if you're like scared of doing something because like, oh, I'm scared like I'm gonna have no money, or like my parents might think this, that I don't have a full-time job, or like if it's anything,
Yeah.
like just do what you feel is right, and like do what makes you happy, and you'll find your place in it. So yeah.
Totally.
My advice would just be like, just friggin' try it. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people who don't. They're like, oh, I want to try this, and they're like, oh no, I might not like it. But like, I've done I've been into so many things in my life, and some of it I've like hated, and I've realized it. But it's only through like actually doing it. And I have so many little like hobbies now that I like go back to and love because I just did it. So yeah,
like it doesn't
just
hurt to
try it.
Yeah.
You might not like it. There will be things you don't like,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's things you love. So yeah.
That's the thing, right? If it makes you happy, like why
Who
not?
cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're constantly like realizing that we're like just on a floating rock, and like
that's
nothing like
another
really
thing.
matters unless you like want it to matter.
Exactly.
So
I
What
try
are you
to
gonna choose to make matter?
I try to think about that a lot. Like, what is this really a big deal right now? You know, like if you think about it in like the retrospective, like space and like like a floating rock. Like
yeah,
do what makes you happy. You know, like do what gives you pleasure, and I think you'll be good if you do that.
yeah.
Life is so precious. We only live in the moment.
Yeah. Seriously.
Exactly. Cool. Well, I think that's all of our questions.
Yeah, thank
that
you
we
so
got
much,
for
guys,
today.
for coming
No,
on the
thank
pod.
you.
Oh, thanks
That
for
was
having
awesome.
us. Like,
That was fun.
I had a great
Such a
time.
good conversation. Thank you.
Don't forget to follow Hannah on Instagram. It's what is it?
Hannah Flawed Art.
Hannah Flawed Art
And obsolete film. I also develop film, so hit me up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot to ask. It was in the questions. Are you like booking people
Oh,
for?
yeah.
Yeah, like absolutely. I'll do color, black and white, whatever. Good
Awesome.
prices too. So
Hit him up.
yeah, hit up the Instagram.
Support local.
Yeah.
Or I even made
Exactly.
an email, so if you want to hit up obsoletefilmlabs@gmail.com, you can hit that up too.
Perfect.
And get in touch.
Professional.
Yeah.
Cool.
Profesh.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks
Yeah,
for tuning
thanks so
in.
much.
Peace out.
Peace out.